Hi, everybody. It's nice to see you all here. Thank you for taking the time. I realize that this is the penultimate, just really wanted to say penultimate, speech of the day, and it's very late, so I appreciate your time and attention. We're here today to talk about Matter Stages, the benefits and best practices of one of the newest features in Clio Manage. So Matter Stages helps your firm focus on what matters, pun absolutely intended, while simultaneously providing you clarity, ensuring that your work doesn't slip through the cracks, and you can support your team in delivering with efficiency. So before we jump into the meat of today's talk, please allow me to acknowledge our visionary partners and to introduce myself. So my name is Heather Pribben. I am a senior account manager at Clio. I've been with Clio for about 2 years, and my job is to help clients get the most from their Clio subscription. I live in North Vancouver, British Columbia with my husband and my 6-year-old son, and I am an avid organizer of all things great and small. Those of you who may have seen me spoke last year know I'm very passionate about Tupperware. If you have questions about that later, happy to speak with you. My intention is to use the next 15 minutes of your time to clear the clutter from your mind and your desk by leveraging one of the newest features in Clio Manage. So to start, we're going to get really clear on why you're here and what value Matter Stages can offer you and your firm. We're going to do that by exploring how Matter Stages allows your firm to visualize your caseload, no meditation required, drive your team's efficiency, and boost productivity. Finally, I'll wrap with some best practices to ensure that we've delivered value and you've got some practical takeaways. For those of you that are familiar with Clio Grow, the Matter Stages view may feel familiar. The pipeline in Clio Grow offers the same visibility into the progress of prospective matters across their life cycle. So Clio's Grow pipeline is designed to give you views onto prospects. Matter Stages is for active cases, tracking them through to closing. As it happens, I actually gave a presentation last year that featured heavily about Tupperware, but also was about advanced client intake workflows. And one of my external speakers mentioned that she used the Clio Grow pipeline to manage her matters right through to closing. So she'd already found a workaround to create what we've built now called Matter Stages. Hopefully she's been able to retire that particular workaround. An important note regarding Matter Stages is that this is not a prescriptive cure-all for your firm. This is not going to cure everything that ails you, but it will provide you with a visual reference to ensure that you can prioritize work, better ensure that you are delivering the best possible experience for your clients. So this is a step in the right direction. All right, now I promised this talk would not involve any meditation, and that is true, but I'm going to ask you to close your eyes for just a moment and imagine all your open matters. I'm sorry if that gives any of you trauma, but it's common for lawyers to juggle multiple matters at the same time, but it's not always easy to keep track of where you're at with those cases. So when you picture it in your mind, how does it appear? Do you see yourself juggling razor-sharp knives? Maybe it's a notebook filled with colorful tabs, or maybe it's an exploding filing cabinet with manila envelopes. Whatever that might be, please imagine a better way, one that does not leave you hyperventilating, but instead leaves you feeling calm and in control. So let's talk about that. For all of you who refuse to play along and close your eyes, this slide is not going to be quite as impactful as I had hoped, but I would invite those amongst you that did play along to open your eyes and revel in the view of the new Matter Stages. What once was a pile of sticky notes, filing cabinet, or an Excel spreadsheet is now a clear picture of all of your current matters and their journey through a well-defined life cycle. I'm a dork. This stuff gets me really excited. So I once worked for a catering company as a director of sales, and we really valued the ability to visualize the work that we were doing. It's hard to keep on top when you have a lot of different projects you're working on. I have a feeling you understand that. So we needed something that we could use to keep track of what we were doing. So we were inspired by Kanban board, which I'm aging myself now, but was a relatively new concept when it came out. And so we designed a tool that would allow us to visualize our work over columns. So we got a whiteboard. We went old school. And we divided it into columns, and then we used sticky notes to denote each one of the projects that we were working on. And I loved adding the sticky notes to the board every time I got a new job. And I loved moving them across the board as we completed the work. I did not love that sometimes those sticky notes would fall on the ground, and I would lose track of the work that I was doing. Or that I had to cart this ginormous whiteboard with me everywhere to know what I was doing and where my work was at. There absolutely had to be a better way. The truth is, just because you lose track of something does not mean that it goes away. In fact, no work is more stressful than the job you forgot or getting too late in the game. My mom used to have a sign next to her desk that said, "Lack of planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on mine." And I recommend you all print that and post it next to your desk where your clients can see it. It won't work, but it's still worth a try. So how do we leverage Clio to better visualize our work without the hassle of not so sticky notes? Well, obviously with matter stages. So this is a visual work in progress board designed to help give you greater insight, improved oversight, and better collaboration across the case lifecycle firm-wide. With matter stages, you can get status updates and track progress across all your firm's cases in a single view, making it easy for you, your team, to prioritize and take action on matters that need attention. I'm ad-libbing way too much. I gotta move along, folks. Before we dive in, an important note. For those of you who are like, matter stages, I've never seen this before. It is only available on Advanced and Complete in North America and Premier and Suite in EMEA. So if you're not seeing it, please do come and speak to us about your account. We'll help get you upgraded so you have access to this feature. Also want to note that once it is available in your account, only admins or primary subscribers will have the ability to create matter stages. We want you to look at this as sort of a high-level planning tool that's designed to create workflows for your team. It should be a collaborative thing, but it shouldn't be taken for granted by any member of the team. It really needs to be from the top down. So we're going to start with a little demo video here. Now, to start leveraging this feature, it's important to identify how practice areas are created, because it's by practice area that your matter stages are going to be defined. So as a quick reminder, practice areas can be edited from settings, firm preferences, and then practice areas. So here we are. We're seeing all of the practice areas that are needed. Once you have all of your practice areas created, you can obviously add and delete as need be. You can navigate to the Matters tab, where you will see all of your matters. It's important to note that if you haven't assigned a practice area to your matter, it's not going to show up on the Matter Stages board. So make sure that all of your matters have a designation. So now we're going to experiment with looking at the actual matter stages. So here is the divorce matter stages. These ones work well for us in my fake firm, but you'll have your own parameters for creating something. Now let's experiment with creating some new fields based on a different practice area that doesn't currently have any matter stages. I have a very vast experience in the law. No, I do not. So I'm going to use that vast knowledge from Matlock and CSI to give you some typical fields like arrest. Am I right? Arraignment comes next. Discovery, that's the part with the private investigators. I love that part in Matlock. And then trial and post-trial. Let's see. Is anyone going to correct me, or did I do okay? And if nobody knows who Matlock is, I don't like you anymore because you make me feel old. So as you can see, it's really that easy. Once I've defined all those stages, I can just move, drag and drop the matters that I have into the individual stages that I've created. These are stages that are relevant to my firm, my imaginary firm, and how we choose to do our work. Once I've moved them, I don't have to do this again. Now all I'm going to have to do is update them, either moving them forwards or backwards as the case progresses. An important note is the date will update every time you move it to a new stage. So you have a visual understanding of how long the work has been sitting in that that stage. How long have you been waiting for arrest or discovery or whatever tasks are associated with that particular stage? So building off the power of visualization, which we just covered, it's through this clarity that your team can begin to understand where each case is in its journey and what needs to be done to keep the case moving forward efficiently, because that's what we're all here for, right? It's to make our jobs easier and faster. So in particular, it gives you a really good overview of how long each case has been. We talked a little bit about that date symbol, the 1 day. So this is a great way of figuring out if you've got cases that have been pending for a while or maybe have something that needs attention because it's been bottlenecked. So ultimately, this will enable you to drive efficiency and ensure the right cases are moving forward. So let's see this principle in action. In this example, we are looking at a firm's matters under the divorce practice area. So at first glance, when we pull this up, all appears well. Nice division across all of the stages. But when we take a closer look at the settlement agreement stage, we can see there's some that have been staying there for quite a bit. case 21 for Cunningham hasn't moved in 136 days. I'm not much of a lawyer, but I don't think that's good. So it may raise a red flag and you might want to dive in a bit. So you can click on the matter directly from matter stages and navigate to understand what's going on. In this case, we sent the client a final version of the agreement quite a while ago, and they haven't replied. So we can use this as an opportunity to leverage the Clio for Client portal and send them a reminder to initiate that signature. So we just took a closer look at the matters in our divorce practice area, and we noticed quite a few cases, that had been stalled. So we used matter stages to increase efficiency by allowing those matter stages to serve as triggers for actions that needed to be taken. Now let's talk about how it can help your team be more productive in their work. Working as a team, as I'm sure you all know, is difficult. It requires planning and flexibility. A case's journey can evolve and change as it progresses. Everyone's nodding their head. I love that. Thank you. And so what once felt like a manageable caseload can very quickly become a riot of conflicting priorities, due dates, and deliverables. So what if the clarity that Matter Stages provides could help you avoid these quagmires and proactively assign work in a way that ensures your entire team is productive? So let's dive in by taking a look at our civil litigation practice area. So in reviewing the discovery stage, we can see that there's an imbalance here, right? We've got a whole bunch of cases pending. So using filters, which is just another value add in Matter Stages, we can filter to see how many of these are owned by Sophie, who is the #1 attorney for civil litigation in my imaginary firm. So I can see she has a ton, not only in discovery, but also in the other stages as well. So using that visibility and that understanding, I can now click through to the matter and reassign one of those discovery cases to make sure that Sophie isn't overwhelmed and our clients are getting the care that they need. So again, I'm a dork and I realize that not everybody is as excited by this as I am, but I genuinely think that this is a game changer. To be able to have something that your entire team can look at that is across all of your responsible attorneys, that is across all of your practice areas, is going to change the way you do business. So having explored the benefits, let's wind down the excitement. Slow down, folks, slow down. By addressing some best practices to support your team implementing Matter Stages. So we've talked about what you can use it for. How do you do it well? First, practice areas are foundational and they're defined in settings. So don't start this without first defining what type of work you do and how you want that work to be undertaken. 2, for buy-in, ensure that you are doing this as a team, that you identify what those big milestones look like, and that it's particularly under each practice area, so that you can help define those Matter Stages. Doing it in isolation means you won't get buy-in. Make sure that your paralegals and your administrative assistants are involved in this conversation to help. 3, this is the biggest one. Data is only relevant when it's accurate. Don't bother starting if you're not going to keep on top of it. It's really, really important to schedule time once or twice a week for each attorney to review and identify anything that needs to be updated. Just take it as a quick snapshot of this is what I'm doing right now. Let yourself settle into what your workload is. 4, take that insight that you learn from your individual review and review as a team and do it on a set cadence. So if you have a weekly meeting, this should be a part of it. You should be pulling this up and going through each Matter Stage and making sure that your team is set up for success and that your customers, clients are getting what they need from you. And last, Matter Stages is global. It can be viewed from any place within Clio. You don't need to keep coming back to this particular page, even though it's pretty. You can see it under each Matter dashboard and in Matter details as well. So in closing, if you have any questions or feedback, please do not hesitate to find me afterwards. That said, the product manager, she's right there. I saw her. She's right there. And the rest of our team is over in the Clio product lab. And if the mob of fans descend upon me, as I suspect, after this presentation, and you don't feel like waiting for everyone to get my autograph, you are welcome to contact our customer support team, award-winning customer support team. They're available 24/5. And would love to take your questions about this new feature. Finally, I want to thank you all for listening. Again, this is a long conference. I know a lot of you have said it should be 3 days because your feet are tired. Please don't make me do this for 3 days. It's too much. but we're glad to be here for 2, and I appreciate your patience and your attention today. As you may or may not have been able to deduce, I am a very proud Cleon, very proud of the work that we do. I love being a part of justice, access to justice, and improving a legal experience for all. And I want to thank you for helping us do that.